welcome to the May 13, 2024 Valley View School District Board meeting. Member Baderas, would you please lead the pledge? If everyone would stand, please. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Member Sutherland, would you please read the affirmation of the Board of Education mission statement?
Our mission is to empower every learner to be college, career, and life ready and to develop, grow, and achieve as a productive citizen.
Thank you. Dr. Wood, the agenda, please.
Thank you, Board President Pro Tem Liz Campbell. We are seeking your approval of the agenda as presented.
So moved. Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion or questions? Seeing none and hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Member Sutherland?
Yes.
Member Baderas?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
President Pro Tem Campbell?
Yes. Motion passes. Student, staff, and recognition. State bowling qualifiers.
Good evening, school board members, Superintendent Wood, senior leadership, and our entire Valley View school community. I would like to thank Mrs. Martin, our sponsor for bowling this year, and Mr. Kirkland, one of our parents, who is here with me this evening. This season bowling trial program has been nothing short of amazing. We have witnessed victories, perseverance, and community being built each step of the process. Watching friends recruit friends to join the program, watching friends attend each Saturday and extra practices in the week, and seeing children laugh and love a lifelong sport is what made this program the very best. Currently, our kids have attended multiple tournaments in which athletes have earned scholarship money attached to their USBC, United States Bowling Congress, numbers that they can carry into collegiate athletics if they choose. All team members have been sanctioned by the United States Bowling Congress. Please refer to the chart that was submitted to show progress throughout the year. In addition, we have connected with high schools coaches to continue progression for our athletes moving into high school. We have created a relationship with the bowling alley who works with us constantly to provide an ease in programming for our families and staff. They offer makeup sessions for athletes who were unable to make a weekend practice to still get their scores in. We have 7 athletes who competed at the sectional level. 2 of those athletes are here with us this evening who qualified for state. Zoe Nafziger qualified as an individual for girls state and bowled well at day 1, just missing the cut for day 2 of state. Devin Kirkland also qualified for state, placing 5th in our sectional, bringing home a medal for Lukanzik. Devin then competed at state, moving through day 1 of state, bowling 3 games and qualifying for the final stretch of an additional 4 games and placing 16th in the state of Illinois as a 6th grader at Lukanzik Middle School. Devin had an average of 190 for all 10 games of his state series and currently holds a high game of 289. We couldn't be more proud of both of our Lukanzik students as student athletes to represent our trial year of our bowling program. This is a program we hope to continue, and even the possibility of opening up to other middle schools in the district moving forward. Please join me in congratulating Zoe and Devin.
Next, we'll have the Battle of the Books.
Good evening, and thank you for having us here tonight. My name is Lisa Arnold. I'm the LMC director at Jonas Salk Elementary School. I'm here tonight to present to you this year's winners of the Valley View School District Battle of the Books. This team represented Jonas Salk last year as fourth graders, and they came in fourth place. And they set a goal to make it back to the district battle this year. And as you can see, they not only made it back, but they won it. They answered 39 out of 40 questions correct. We are so proud of their hard work and determination. We're going to miss them and their reading enthusiasm next year, but we know they're going to go on and do great things at the middle school. So let me present to you first Regina Carino. Meadow Muse, Hannah Siska, Shreya, and we had one member not with us tonight, Juliana Talbot. Thank you.
Next, we'll have the middle school math contest champions.
Thank you. Good evening, school board, Superintendent Dr. Wood, senior administration, community members. I am Christy Vey, the director of mathematics and science for grades 6 through 12, and I'm here to introduce our mathletes who won our middle school competition. It was our 12th annual middle school math competition. And our sponsors, Jordan Gage and Alka Chug, are here to tell you a little bit about the program and their success this year, and some students who reigned in mathematics.
So, good evening. First and foremost, we would like to thank the board for inviting us here tonight. Today, as we stand victorious in this competition, I'm reminded of a day a few years ago when we just had a couple of students, followed by another year when we truly struggled to get more mathematicians on board. To this day, when we have this brilliant, dedicated, passionate, and hardworking team that paved the path to this incredible journey. This team is some of the finest students we know. They're kind, compassionate, they're thinkers, they're explorers, they're problem solvers, and they believe in pushing the boundaries of their understanding and embracing the beauty of mathematics with unwavering enthusiasm and team spirit. And before I hand them their certificate, we want to thank the families for their support and encouragement and partnering with us. Thank you to this team for believing that math is not just a subject, but a way of thinking. And let us together continue to make math possible, relevant, and interesting for all. And continue to see the beauty and sheer coolness of math. So congratulations, mathematicians, you truly deserve it.
All right, so I'm going to read off the names of the students that are here first, and then we can give them applause after everyone's done so I can get through them all. So we'll start off with 6th grade, who got 2nd place as a team. We'll start off with, and then you guys can go straight through, shake hands. Julie De La Cerda, Ezra Tharu, who also took second place in the individual one, Shriver Vemaru. 7th grade, first place. You guys can, yeah, you can walk there. 7th grade, first place. They took first place as a team. And we have Riley Campbell, Marissa Cherry, Vinnie Hunt, Finn McDermott, Mauricio Paniagua. 8th grade took second place, Ricky De La Cerda, Leah Kelly, Jonathan Salazar. And algebra took first place, and the names are Abdul Hassan, Jesse Ron, Jonathan Schnudi. And then the people that are not here, but I want to give a shout out to them as well, Vanessa Sprincia, Yusuf Awan, Alex Manas, Nee Pham, Jasmine Ramos, Duncan Wicker, Zach DeWitt, and Isaac Reyes. So we got them all to give it. Thank you so much.
Next, we'll have the, okay, got you. Get ready. Y'all got to go move faster. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. Now we'll have the BHS and the RHS Badminton State qualifiers.
Okay, good evening, school board members, members of senior leadership, Valley View community. Congrats to all those who are being recognized tonight. Tonight I'm here to speak a little bit about our badminton team. A few weeks ago we were able to host the sectionals for IHSA state playoffs, and I'm happy to report that this team won the sectional, and that's much to do with our head coach, Coach Dupay, and she is here to talk about her state run with the badminton team. Thank you.
Good evening, President Quigley, members of the board, Superintendent Wood, senior administration, the audience, and the community. Thank you to our families and friends for their support throughout the season. A big thank you to our school admin, especially Pat Woods and Dr. Pascavage. I'm grateful for you, and your attendance at our matches has not gone unnoticed by myself or our players. Thank you to our athletic secretary, Jen Borland, who is absolutely phenomenal. And thank you to our maintenance staff for always going above and beyond to help. A very special thank you to our program assistant coaches. One is here today, Daniel Andorra, Orlando Gonzalez, and Lily Torres. These coaches are the heart and glue of our program. Highlights from our season include a third-place conference finish, sectional championship, and qualifying 5 players to the IHSA Badminton State Finals. We made school history by not only winning the sectional tournament, but by qualifying 5 of our 6 competing athletes to the next level. We finished 19th in the state in a very competitive tournament. Finally, thank you to our athletes for their dedication, heart, grit, and hard work. We've had an absolutely incredible season. Congratulations to Isa Andorra, Emily Calderon, Viviana Garcia, Maitri Patel, and Isabella Yap.
Next, we'll have the SkillsUSA National Tournament qualifiers.
Thank you, President Pro Tem Campbell, members of the board, Superintendent Wood, and community members. My name is Chuck Merrick, proud assistant principal for activities at Bolingbrook High School. And I'm here tonight because we're recognizing 2 amazing young individuals that competed in SkillsUSA competitions. And essentially what that is a series of events that are focused on career-based skills, and they compete. And I'm happy to report we had, and this is in our only second year of doing SkillsUSA at Bolingbrook High School, we had not 1 but 2 national qualifiers, not state qualifiers, national qualifiers, and they're going to compete in June in Atlanta. A lot of this is due to our head coach, Caleb Scott, and I want to introduce him, bring him to the podium, and he's going to talk about our 2 individuals. Caleb Scott.
Good afternoon, I'm Caleb Scott. I am the SkillsUSA advisor for Bolingbrook High School. I just want to say I am thankful for the opportunities that Bolingbrook High School and Valley View School District has offered our program through these first 2 years, and we're just going to be a successful program for so long to come. But because of these first 2 years, you know, it's off to such a good start. Our first student who could not be here tonight due to another conflict, but Chase Casson, who is actually the BHS CTE Those Who Excel Award recipient. Chase is actually the back-to-back woodworking state champion for SkillsUSA, so not many have ever gotten that honor, let alone twice, 2 years in a row. Chase is a phenomenal student with a really bright future, and I'm just so proud of him for what he's been able to accomplish through the 2 years I've had him as a student. Next up is Claudia Ramirez-Guillen. Claudia competed in photography. So she's the state champion in photography this year. So she beat out 20 other competitors at SkillsUSA this year. A funny story about Claudia. Most of the competitors were given a time frame from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. to compete this year at the conference. I would say all of them left by 2:30 p.m. Claudia was there until 3:59. So she was there making sure that every last possible detail that needed to get done in order to secure her win happened. So I'm really proud of her for that. And then she also had a huge bout of adversity with a laptop issue. And she dealt with using an entirely separate program than what she was used to, which is just even more impressive when you think about the fact that she beat out all those other kids that were fully prepared and did not have all the technology issues. So I just want to say I'm really proud of these two kids and all the kids that competed this year, but I'm just thankful for your guys' time. I want to say thank you to Chuck Merrick for being so supportive as our activities director, Tammy Kahn, Angie Beam, and Adam Brown for all their support this year. So, Claudia?
All right, good evening, everyone. I'm Angie Beam. I'm the enrichment administrator at BHS and RHS. I oversee the electives, and I'm here tonight proud to present the Seal of Biliteracy Awards. I'll tell you a little bit about the Seal of Biliteracy before we recognize some of our recipients. It is a national movement to recognize students for proficiency in English and another language. The evidence of biliteracy is becoming increasingly lucrative in post-secondary life. In addition to being recognized tonight, all students who've earned this will have a notation of honor on their transcript, and as a result, some may even automatically earn college credit or even higher wages in the future with employers. Now I'm going to invite Duncan Powers, BHS AP Spanish teacher, to tell us a little bit more about this honor.
Good evening, everyone. All right, so what does it mean to be biliterate, right? So according to the state of Illinois, right, all students must demonstrate proficiency in English by scoring the state benchmark of a minimum of 480, right, on the evidence-based reading and writing portion of the SAT, or equivalent, right, for English language learners. In addition, students must also demonstrate proficiency in another language in the areas of reading, writing, speaking, and listening. So the seal indicates a high level of proficiency. It's just below, right, the level required for language teachers in Illinois. And just recently, Illinois deemed that the seal is proof of biliteracy for those seeking a bilingual endorsement. So we are especially proud. We got 183 seals this year being awarded to the 2024 grads of Valley View. Their accomplishments are truly remarkable, right, given their rigor associated with this award. So at this time, we'd like to bring up the recipients that were able to join us tonight, right out of 183, and everybody showed. We've got a lot here tonight. They're going to introduce themselves, show off their punny shirts that they've got. They're awesome shirts. They're receiving the seal. So they'll say their names before crossing the stage. We have a lot of them, okay?
And we do have them broken down by language. Our first recipient, there were two recipients, one from each school, who we consider double seals, meaning they earned the seal in two languages. So our first student is from RHS, and she earned the seal in both Polish and Spanish.
Hi, my name is Alexandra Kalishik.
Earning the seal in Polish.
My name is Paul Okonski. My name is Sylvia Stuczynski.
My name is Alex Duda.
My name is Alicia Noga.
Our next group of students earned the seal in French, and if you can hold your applause, maybe we'll do applause by language.
My name is Kirsten Kilarto.
My name is Hannah Thomas.
Applause for French. Our next student was the only student to earn the seal in Lithuanian.
My name is Isabella Kovas.
And the remainder of our students being introduced tonight all earned the seal in Spanish.
My name is Diana Antonia Aguilar.
My name is Samuela Amu.
My name is Juliana Anderson.
My name is Rosario Andrade.
My name is Fernando Ariza.
My name is Giselle Barrios.
My name is Emily Bello. My name is Alexandra Benitez Perez.
My name is Andrea Blancas.
My name is Cynthia Chavez. My name is Kelly Cruz. My name is Montserrat Delgado Cruz.
My name is Anton Esparza. My name is Daniel Espinoza.
My name is Lupita Esquivel.
My name is Stephanie Franco.
My name is Jennifer Garcia.
My name is Natalie Gach. My name is Stacy Gonzalez.
My name is Julissa Gonzalez.
My name is Jesus Gutierrez.
My name is Emily Hernandez. My name is Yamilete Hernandez.
My name is Giselle Herrera.
My name is Audrey Katauskas.
My name is Brian Leone.
My name is Ezekiel Lopez Hughes.
My name is Fernanda Martinez Herrera.
Mi nombre es Elisa de Martínez.
My name is Karan Newman Jan.
My name is Jimena Nicasio.
My name is Jocelyn Ochoa.
My name is Yanel Olivas.
My name is Brian Orizawa.
My name is Jasmine Orozco. My name is Josefina Orozco. My name is Elisa Otero.
My name is Sebastian Rodriguez.
My name is Frida Pensoja. My name is Salmari Parra.
My name is Grace Periconi.
My name is Amy Pineda.
My name is Gloria Maria Rodriguez. My name is Jasmine Venegas Pilar. My name is Natalie Varela Orozco. My name is Eliana Vargas. My name is Aileen Sinchi.
My name is Javier Tinoco Jr.
My name is Jennifer Avila.
My name is Emily Calderon. My name is Michelle Cortazar. My name is Leslie Cruz Gomez. My name is Natalia Esquivel. My name is Anipsa Garcia. My name is Vivian Gomez. My name is Viviana Garcia.
My name is Anthony Gutierrez.
Me llamo Asael Landa.
My name is Daniela Alexandra Mendoza.
My name is Carlos Mora.
My name is Diego Pañawa.
My name is Andrea Rosas.
My name is Giselle Zavala Ruiz.
All right, one more round of applause for the Seal of Biliteracy recipients.
All right, let's give a round of applause for all of our students. At this time, we have the Treasurer's report. 5.7, oh, sorry. We have the spotlight. Wendy Handravarty, kitchen manager at the James Adams Middle School.
Since I was young, I always liked to help my
Okay, when we have our technical difficulty solved, we will bring that back. So 6.1 Treasurer's Report, Mr. Rennish.
Thank you. The Treasurer's Action Report 6.1 for the month of April includes the normal schedule of financial reports, balance sheets, summary of revenue and expenditures, interim obligations, and debt service payments totaling $10,569,807.96 for your approval.
Second.
Motion and second. Any questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Member Baduris?
Yes.
Member Sutherland?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
President Pro Tem Campbell?
Abstain.
6.2 Schedule of Bills. The schedule of bills for the month of May, we have 6 funds totaling bills payable of $3,597,956.64 for your approval.
So moved.
Motion and second. Any discussion or questions? Seeing none, hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Member Sutherland?
Yes.
Member Baduris?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
President Pro Tem Campbell?
Yes. Motion passes. Consent agenda items, Dr. Wood.
6.3.
Oh, 6. All right, Mr. Rennish, 6.3 Summary of Investments.
That's correct. So in your packet, you have 6.3, the Summary of Investments for the month of April, along with 6.4, State Funding Update, 6.5, Property Tax Received, and 6.6, All Schools Trust Account Activity. This is an informational item.
All right, consent agenda, Dr. Wood.
Yes, tonight we are seeking your approval on 7 consent agenda items as presented. Board meeting minutes, 7.1, April 22nd, 24. 7.2, executive session meeting minutes, April 22nd, 24. 7.3, gifts to Bolingbrook High School, Jonas E. Salk Elementary, Oakville Elementary, Romeoville High School, and elementary libraries. 7.4, trips for Bolingbrook and Romeoville High School. 7.5, intergovernmental agreement with New Lenox District 122. 7.6, resolution number 2429, authorizing Property Tax Appeal Board intervention. And 7.7, Valley View Educational Enrichment Foundation 2024-25 grant awards. And for this last item, 7.7, I do believe we have direct president of the Valley View Educational Enrichment Foundation present, Mr. Mike Lawler, if you would like to come forward.
I'm going to let you wait just a second till we finish the motion, okay?
I absolutely agree with that.
Thank you.
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Member Sutherland?
Yes.
Member Baduris?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
President Pro Tem Campbell?
Yes, motion.
Good evening. My friends on the school board and the administration, Dr. Wood, Superintendent. I just want to take a few moments to thank everyone for their support of the Education Foundation over the years. I was explaining to someone earlier tonight that I have had the opportunity to be here and witness the vote to accept these funds from the foundation since 1995. And as a founding board member of the foundation in 1994. So I'm proud to say that we have been honored to receive a unanimous approval from the school board every year in that matter. So we do appreciate your support. On the other matter, I would, one other quick comment. I would normally be up here promoting the Valley View golf outing, Valley View Educational Enrichment Foundation golf outing on Thursday, June 6th. But thanks to Mr. Blaney and a number of people, in the school district. Mr. Blaney sent out a notice to the district employees, and something I've never seen or heard of, and anyone I talked to involved in golf, the golf outing sold out to individuals and foursomes within 3 hours. So that's, I think everyone will have a good time. We still do have opportunities for sponsors, right? So go on the website, VVEF 2024, givesmart.com, or look up, and you can look at sponsorships. But one last comment, and I apologize for not having done this for several years. I've personally been remiss in doing this, but we will be issuing a press release this year and notifying the community of the cooperation with the district in being able to fund most of the grants. We're able to fund 59 of the grants of the 72 that were applied for, thanks in large part to the ongoing great cooperation of the administration of Valley View Schools and the efforts from the generosity of our community. So my next step after tonight is to notify all grant applicants of 72 grants of their application status. Kind of got a hint of where that stands with the numbers I just gave you. And then after they are notified, I will send out a press release to all of our media contacts. Any questions that I can answer at all? But again, deep appreciation for all the cooperation and the support from the community. And lastly, to the incredible educators who put together the grant programs and deliver them and make our school district and our students even better. So,
Thank you, Mr. Lawler.
okay. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Deputy Mayor Lawler. Next, we have board liaison reports. Any from my right? Any from my left? Okay. Audience participation. Is there anyone that would like to address the board? If so, please state your name, and remember that due to the time restraints, you have 5 minutes.
Hi, everybody. Hi. How's it going? Hi. So hey, I'm here to talk about tennis. I'm kidding. I'm not here to talk about tennis. I'm here to talk about swimming. Okay. So before you think I look really ridiculous, I was originally going to come up here and I was going to wear a Speedo. My wife talked me out of it. So I think everybody here is better off for me having a wife who is very, very knowledgeable. So I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Adam Thoss, and I have the pleasure of being the first ever boys swim coach in the history of Bolingbrook High School. That's right, that's right, that's right. It has been an absolutely incredible 3 years, and I have to start out first by saying thank you to the school board and the administration for even having a swim team to begin with. You saw a need that, like, if we went north, south, east, west, everybody has a swim team. Bolingbrook didn't have a swim team, and now we have a swim team, and we're still like toddlers. We're only 3 years old, but man, we were great this year, and we had a conference champion in 2 events. It was a lot of fun, but you know, for all the good things that are going on, there are still a few little things that we go through at a swim team that is just starting out. And the first thing of that is our pool is only 5 feet deep. Yes, we practice at Pelican Harbor, and the deepest it goes is 5 feet. So what that means is we can't have a diving team. And we have kids who want to dive, but they can't do it. So we looked around. I don't know if you guys have been to the new one in Romeoville. You can't dive in that one, okay? And we looked all the way at Luce University. You can't dive at that one. That one's only like 10 feet deep. So we just can't dive. And it gets a little frustrating because, you know, we almost beat Homewood Flossmoor this year. We came really close, but it just came down to diving. So, you know, that's the first problem that we run into. The second thing we run into is there's not a lot of time that they allow us at Pelican Harbor. It's in charge of the park district, and they give us what they can, but like, you need at least 2 hours to practice, and we can't have morning practices, and we can't have Saturday practices, and they only give us 45 minutes on Wednesday, so it's a little frustrating there. And we can't have any home meets. It's a little frustrating there, we can't have any home meets because like, I mean, come on, like the Pelican Harbor, they said, hey, you can do it on Fridays at like 7:30, and that's not gonna work. So I started looking around because again, we saw that everybody around us didn't have anything. And I thought, you know who's got a few good swimmers? Romeoville. But Romeoville does not have a swim team. They don't. Bolingbrook has a swim team, but doesn't have a swim team. They're right now in the Prairie Conference where Bolingbrook's about to go, and every single team, every high school in the entire Prairie Conference has a swim team, except Romeoville. Now don't worry, we can get around this. We can get around this problem because you can do what's called a co-op. And a co-op is where you have a bunch of schools that all go together and they're on the same swim team. Oswego does this. Plainfield has like every single one of their schools all goes on the same swim team. So we can do this. We can put Romeoville on the swim team with Bolingbrook kids and have a Valley View swim team. It'd be awesome. However, that leads me to my last problem, and that's that Pelican Harbor only allows us to have 4 lanes. Now, if you don't know swimming, you can maybe get 5 kids to a lane, maybe 6 on a good day. So that means total, I can only have like 22, 23 kids on the team. So if I have these kids from Romeoville come, I already had to cut kids off the Bolingbrook swim team. So now I'm going to have Romeoville kids in there, and it's going to get really, really hectic. So that brings me to what I'm here for. And it's ridiculous. And the money people, don't take any water. You're going to spill out your water when I say this. I am asking you to build a pool. That's right. I'm asking you to build a pool here in Valley View for the Valley View School District students. Now, I'm not asking for something ridiculous here because I know something. Did you know in the original plans for Bolingbrook High School, there was a pool? Yeah, we were supposed to have a pool. I know this because my coworker was hired 20 years ago and was supposed to be the supposed to be the swim coach, but that didn't happen. I know that happens. It's expensive, okay? I know that, like, where are we gonna put it? I know people are freaking out over that stuff, all of those things, but here's the thing. I know about swim teams and swim facilities. I've been a lifeguard, been around swimming all my life. You know how you can tell that there is a high school swim, like you're at a high school pool? They have kayaks on the wall. They have kayaks on the wall because I know it seems ridiculous that I'm up here sitting here asking for a pool, and what is that going to be? Maybe 30 kids on a swim team, 40 kids, 50 kids at the most? Well, you see, you can do other things besides just have a swim team. You can teach boating. You can teach snorkeling. You can teach swim lessons. You can do all those types of things because yes, there are people that can't swim. There's high school students that can't swim. And we can fix that by having a pool. This can be part of our curriculum. This can be a place where we are using this as instruction. So I was going to come up here and I was going to get a chant going. I was going to be like, yeah, let's do it. I'm going to pound my fist and everybody's going to go, let's build a pool. And I realize right now as I'm looking out here that you all think I'm crazy and half of you know I'm crazy, so that's not going to happen. So here's the thing. We just want a pool. It doesn't have to be a big pool. It can be a small pool. It can be just like a 6-lane one. Just 6 lanes. We don't need New Trier's pool. We just need a small pool. We can name it. You can name it after anybody we want. You can have an aquatic center just for everybody. So what I'm going to do instead.
We need you to start wrapping it up.
I'm about to be done. I got it. All right. So here's my thing. I made a list. We are in the Southwest Suburban Conference, and we want every kid here in Bolingbrook and Romeoville to have the same opportunities that other kids have at other park district or at other school districts. So I made a list here of every single school that doesn't have a pool in the Southwest Suburban Conference. I did it in alphabetical order. You ready? Bolingbrook. That's it. We're the only ones. So let's get them a pool, and I want you to know that I lost, I told them if they got within 15 points, I'd come here and do this when we played HF. So that's why I'm here, and I'm doing this for the kids, and build them a pool, and there we go. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
I don't know if he ever decides to retire from coaching. I think I could put him in sales pretty easily. Hello, board members. My name is Kate McConnell, and I apologize. I wasn't sure if I was going to speak tonight, so I'm hastily prepared. We just finished up Teacher Appreciation Week, and I am incredibly blessed to be part of the Pioneer family. And if I could for a moment, I just wanted to say some words about 3 really gifted special teachers at Pioneer that have made a huge difference for my children this year. It's my daughter's kindergarten year. She was a little nervous. She doesn't handle change well, but Mrs. Walk has handled it with aplomb. She has definitely struggled academically and with her social emotional skills, but because of Mrs. Walk's caring and support, she's doing phenomenally well here at the end of the school year. She loves school. She loves Mrs. Walk. She writes Mrs. Walk love letters over the weekend. She invited Mrs. Walk to her birthday party, and she came, and it was the greatest thing that ever happened to her. I remember my own kindergarten teacher with lots of love, and I'm sure my daughter will now too. My son is in the 4th grade challenge class at Pioneer. He has Mrs. Therese Walters, and I love her so much. My son is autistic. He is gifted. I had to ask one of these nice ladies earlier, the expected Lexile or reading score for a 4th grader at the end of their 4th grade challenge year is 840. College ready is 1300. My son is reading at almost 1400. He's 10 years old. So I don't know how she has managed to keep him challenged and engaged, but she has. He loves her so much. He cannot wait to get, I feel sorry for his homeroom teacher, Mrs. Hanahan, who's also wonderful, but he just cannot wait to ditch her and go straight to Mrs. Walters' class. But again, she has done a phenomenal job and, advocating for him in his 504 meeting, and really helping him to blossom. And last but not least is actually Mrs. Amy Rappel, who this year is at Jonas Salk. That was her home school, and then last year she was at Pioneer for 3rd grade challenge. And to say that she has changed his life is not an understatement. Because of the autism, he struggles with emotional dysregulation, which, as we all know, as you start to get into 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, if you're a kid who cries easily, it's not going to go over well with your peers. And she created such a wonderful, safe space for him. Continued to keep him challenged academically. Again, he is incredibly bright, and he loves her. He saw her this weekend at the book event, which was amazing, and our teachers are so great for organizing that. And he was holding back tears. He ran straight up to her and hugged her like there was no tomorrow, and couldn't even say anything to her because he was trying not to cry. He struggled all last year with some pretty deep depression, expressed some feelings of self-harm, which obviously as a parent is incredibly scary, especially in the world we live in now, and she handled that so beautifully. And when we went into his 504 meeting at the end of the school year, she just came prepared to fight for my child with everything in her. And I can never thank her enough for that. I can never repay her for that. She had a note that he had written to her, Dear Mrs. Rappel, I'm struggling so much. I'm so lonely. If there's anything you can think of, please send me a message in Google Docs, because that's my, 35-year-old, 10-year-old. And she presented this note and said, this child is brilliant. This child is gifted, and we are failing him. And how are we going to fix this? And she came up with a plan that this year the Pioneer staff has implemented, and it has made a world of difference. He is advocating for himself. He has friends. He actually wanted to have a birthday party this year. He didn't want to have a birthday party in previous years because he was sure no one would come, which is heartbreaking. He had a wonderful party this year. He had a blast. He was so excited to invite his friends, which he has friends. And that's all because of Mrs. Rappel. And I love her so much. I'd give that woman a kidney. Thank you.
Thank you.
President Pro Tem Campbell, members of the board, Dr. Wood, members of the administration, and members of the community, thank you for indulging me again. What he said, to borrow from my time here last time. But more importantly, and I swear Kate and I don't get together and talk about what we're going to talk about before we come. But in my reflecting on what I wanted to say this past week, there were lots of things that we could have reflected on from the last meeting. I wanted to take a more positive look at things, and coming off of Teacher Appreciation Week, realize that we don't say thank you enough, and that's the royal we in part, but that's the Spengler we in particular. And so my kids, my wife, and I have been doing a lot of reflecting on our teachers this last week, and in FaceTime, and I got to see a couple of them for Mother's Day. But so we started writing down a list of all of the teachers that we thought were really impactful or important to us. And some of that comes from the kids, some of it comes from us as the parents. And so with my 30 or 60 seconds here, from their elementary grades, Mrs. Anderson, Mrs. Workus, keys to great starts for my kids in particular. Mrs. DePort made sure that my son knew how to read. Mrs. Kaczynski saw when he needed some real help, had a real intuition for that. And Mrs. Morgenstern, Miss Del Morte, they still remember little Zachary, even though he's big Zachary now. So, and Mrs. Ball from science, we called out Mr. Collier, Miss England, Mr. Rio, and Miss T. In the social sciences, Mr. Olson, Mr. Flynn, Mr. Ploger, and Ms. Bonanno, Ms. Parker, Ms. Murphy, Ms. Kearns, Ms. Bizzuto, Ms. Spesh, and Mr. Morrison in the areas of English. Music has a real special place for us, so Mr. Kiawit, Ms. Garza, Mr. Klieger, Mr. Allen, Ms. Zabinski, Ms. Rupsis, Mr. Hannerhoff, and Mr. Fisher, all have given my kids so much that they carry with them today. We got to math, and I was actually surprised that my kids had anything positive to say about math and math teachers. So Ms. Tinsley, Ms. Bruskowitz, Ms. Suffren, Ms. Seo, Ms. Padakchanian. In particular, those of you who made my kids like geometry, I don't know how you did it, because I really like geometry, and I'm glad they like geometry too. The brothers Wayne, we had one for science, and one who taught us different things as we were on the theater, but it was great to have both of those guys. And then my wife has been fortunate enough to be a guest teacher, and kind of seen both ends, early childhood and STEP, and she in particular called out Miss Lori, Miss Tracy, Miss Amanda, and Miss Jill. So for those teachers, we don't say it enough. Thank you.
We do want to thank you for all your great comments about our educators. We know that they have the best interest in mind for all of our students. At this time, we have the action report from Human Resource from Dr. Nash.
Yes, thank you. Action Report 10.1 is our consolidated action report for certified, classified, and administrative personnel. We're seeking your approval on all items as presented this evening.
Second.
This motion and second. Any discussion or questions? Seeing none, hearing none. Roll call vote, please.
Member Burduris. Member Burduris.
Yes.
Member Sutherland.
Yes.
Secretary Sikora.
Yes.
President Pro Tem Campbell.
Yes. Motion passes.
Thank you. Action Report 10.2 is Resolution Number 2430, authorizing the dismissal of educational support personnel employee for reasons other than reduction in force. We're seeking your approval this evening.
So moved.
Motion and second. Any questions or discussion? Seeing none, hearing none. Roll call vote, please.
Member Sutherland.
Yes.
Member Burduris.
Yes.
Secretary Sikora.
Yes.
President Pro Tem Campbell.
Yes. Motion passes. Action report 11, Mr. Renish. 11.1, vehicle replacement.
Yes, on February 1st, 2024, one of our district maintenance vehicles was involved in an accident. The other driver was at fault and no one was injured. However, our insurance carrier has determined that the district's vehicle is a total loss. This vehicle is part of our daily fleet usage, and as a result, we need a replacement of this truck as soon as possible. The district has explored numerous options to procure the replacement of the vehicle, both new and used models. However, upon having our mechanics inspecting the available used vehicles, this was not a viable option. After 4 months of searching, the district found a comparable vehicle. This vehicle is in stock, and the district will leverage the purchase of this vehicle from a national cooperative purchasing program, which Valley View has been a member since 2016. It's important to note that at the same time, the district is subrogating this claim through its carrier, Liberty Mutual, to minimize our loss. So the administration is recommending that the Board of Education approve the purchase of the 2023 Ram 5500 truck with a lift bucket and service body from Specialty Fleet Sales for $150,228.29 through the National Cooperative Purchasing Program known as TIPS, which stands for the Interlocal Purchasing System.
So moved.
Motion and second. Any questions or discussion? Seeing none, hearing none. Roll call vote, please.
Member Sutherland.
Yes.
Member Burduris.
Yes.
Secretary Sikora.
Yes.
President Pro Tem Campbell.
Yes, motion passes.
11.2 is Independence Elementary kitchen renovation. At the April 8th, 2024 board meeting, an information report was presented identifying the need for a kitchen equipment and renovation at Independence Elementary School. The Independence Elementary School is one of our highest enrollments for K-5, serving 600 learners, breakfast, lunch, and supper daily. Independence is one of just 2 VVSD schools without a walk-in freezer. The current school footprint does not allow for remodeling of the space within the building to fully address the deficiencies. By adding the exterior walk-in freezer unit, we will maximize the interior square footage and provide a greater dining space for our learners. So the administration is recommending that the Board of Education award the contract to FH Passion for $349,000 to provide general construction and kitchen equipment purchase and installation at Independence School.
Second.
Motion and second. Any questions or discussion? Seeing none, hearing none. Roll call vote, please.
Member Sutherland.
Yes.
Member Burduris.
Yes.
Secretary Sikora.
Yes.
President Pro Tem Campbell.
Yes, motion passes. Action reports, Dr. Wood.
Yes, President Pro Tem Campbell, we are seeking approval on 3 action reports tonight. The first one being 12.1 Title I School-Wide Plans Fiscal Year 25. Pursuant to guidelines from the Illinois State Board of Education, existing Title I school-wide buildings must review and update their plans to reflect new priorities and updates under the Every Student Succeeds Act. Title I school-wide buildings must also evaluate their school-wide plans annually. The school-wide plan must be approved by the Board of Education every 3 to 5 years or when there is a significant change in scope and/or activities. The attached document reflects the required documentation in response to this compliance measure. A critical component of each building's school-wide plan is a comprehensive needs assessment. Though a compliance measure, this is best practice as it relates to ongoing investments in the continuous improvement cycle we are currently engaged in with smart learning systems and the Consortium for Educational Change. Through the comprehensive needs assessment, each building team has attempted to measure perceived or actual needs by collecting data to identify areas of focus to target improvement efforts. We are requesting approval of the fiscal year 25 Title I school-wide plans as presented.
Motion and second. Any questions or discussion? Seeing none, hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Member Badouris?
Yes.
Member Sutherland?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
President Pro Tem Campbell?
Yes, motion passes.
Next is item 12.2, English Language Arts Students Work, Text, and Online Curriculum Adoption for 3rd through 5th grade. Requesting approval to adopt or purchase the purchase of Houghton Mifflin Harcourt into reading, Arriba La Lecture, teacher and student print and digital resource for 3 years at a yearly cost of $160,553.11. A summary of the background and rationale, process, and criteria for selection was presented at the April 22nd, 2024 meeting and is included below.
We need to wait because one of our members had emergency for a second. Are we able to play the video? Thank you.
Since I was young, I always liked to help my mom in the kitchen. I always loved to cook, to bake. So that when I was in Indonesia. So I moved here. So my passion is always working in the kitchen and the restaurants.
What was it about working in the kitchen with your mother that made it such a memorable experience that really shaped your life?
Oh, I can just do whatever I want. Like I try to taste it, like improve the recipe. That's the most important. I don't follow the recipe sometimes, to be honest, unless I bake. So when I bake, of course, I have to follow the recipe. But if I cook, I will improve. I will add something a little bit, this and that. So I think that's my passion in the kitchen working.
Why did you choose, when you went into the restaurant business, that, okay, a pizza place is what I want to have?
Before I start my pizza place, I learned how to bake cheesecake. Because in Indonesia, cheesecake wasn't that popular. And then when I moved here, I learned, cheesecake is very popular here, especially in Illinois. So I went to a couple classes, and then I started gathering all the recipe. I make some cheesecake, and then I give away a lot to try. And then I baked the cheesecake, and then I sold my cheesecake to one of the pizza place restaurant. So that's how I started. And then my business partner said, hey, why don't we start the pizza place? Okay, and then we can sell the cheesecake too. So I learned how to make cheesecake. I learned how to make pizza from that place. So, and then I start to open a pizza place.
What is the satisfaction that you get from doing your job and making sure that you meet the needs of your customers who are Jane Addams students?
When I heard the kids like, ooh, mozzarella stick today, that was like, oh my God, they love the mozzarella stick. So when I heard the kid mention something about like even simple thing like the fruit, ooh, watermelon today. Like, oh no, now I know they love watermelon. So sometimes if you have a new product, I would go outside and ask personally, like to them, hey, you guys, what do you think? You know, do you like it? This is like a sample for example, for next year menu. So that makes me happy. Every time they see, I saw them smile or they mention about the food here, I feel happy. So I feel like, okay, I did good today.
Okay, you can make a pizza for yourself. What are the ingredients that go on that pizza?
For pizza, I don't really have preference. Like, I can eat anything pizza, except, no mushroom in my pizza. That's it. I think that's it. But I can eat all kind of pizza, from sausage, pepperoni, cheese, put the vegetable, any vegetable except mushroom.
Well, we want to thank Ms. Andrade for her service and for all those those who work in the nutritional service. And I can attest, I was over there for 2 lunches, and everything that she served, all the children said that it was good. So thanks again. At this time, we will take a motion on 12.2. Motion and second. Any questions or discussion? Seeing none, hearing none. Roll call vote, please.
Member Sutherland? Member Badouris?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
President Pro Tem Campbell?
Yes, motion passes.
And I would add too, Board Member Campbell, I don't know if you guys have had an opportunity, but they do a pretty mean orange chicken too. So shout out to Nutrition Services. They do an outstanding job. And last action report is student discipline due process, cases A and B as presented.
Motion and second. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, seeing none. Roll call vote, please.
Member Badouris?
Yes.
Member Sutherland?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
President Pro Tem Campbell?
Yes, motion passes. Superintendent information report.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I have a couple of just updates as we close out the school year. If we could go to slides. All right, there we go. We have a couple images to just kind of highlight how we spent last week. Last week was all about teacher and staff appreciation, and what you see is a few images. The first being B.J. Ward, and students were serenading their school nurse. And it looks like she was quite surprised at that level of appreciation. As students were in their appreciation era, and I understand it's a reference to Taylor Swift. Not too familiar with that, but looks pretty good. And the final one is Oakville principal delivering treats to staff. And this is just a snippet of many of the cool things that took place across schools to recognize our amazing staff, our educators. It's just good to see. I was able to get out to quite a few buildings just to see these things happening across, and we can't do enough to appreciate our outstanding educators and staff. We also had an opportunity last week to honor 41 Valley View School District retirees who represented 788 total years of service. I think we should take this moment to give them a round of applause. I would thank them for all that they do. And just to say, all our retirees, you will be missed. I have one to my left here. And just a quick reminder, retirees, school year ends May 24th, not before. All right, we know we could count on you to close out the year strong. Just a reminder, online registration is still in place, so please register. And just a few pictures or images of some end of the year fun. At RHS, you can see a couple of our prom royalties represented. This picture is of Tibbet There was a walk and bike to school that was at Tibbet, but also at many other schools across the district. It was pretty cool for folks to meet up, staff, students, family members, law enforcement, and really just take some time to come together and do something healthy and be in community. So it's just wonderful to see a wide representation. And that was final picture or image is the Early Childhood Center field trip. They went out to Caton Farms. So just some nice end of the year wrap-up activities. Some important upcoming dates presented: BHS and RHS graduations, May 20th and 21st. Middle school promotion, May 22nd. That's all the middle schools that simultaneously across the district. And May 23rd is our step exit ceremony. And our final day, as mentioned, retirees, May 24th. That's my update.
Next, we have 13.2 Consolidated District Plan.
Yes, item 13.2 is fiscal year 25 Consolidated District Plan. The Illinois State Board of Education's system for consolidating and streamlining the federal grant application and management process is known as a Consolidated District Plan. This process involves Valley View writing one plan for all federal grants being used to provide holistic supports to students, in lieu of completing a needs assessment for each separate federal grant. For fiscal year 25, these grants include Title I, Part A, Improving Basic Programs, Title I, Part A, School Improvement, Title II, Part A, Preparing, Training, and Recruiting High-Quality Teachers, Principals, and Other School Leaders, Title III, Language Instructional Education Program, Title III, Immigrant Student Education Programs, Title IV, Part A, Student Support and Academic Enrichment, IDEA Part B, Flow Through, and IDEA Part B, Preschool. The CDP is a prerequisite for submitting applications for federal funds. Completing the CDP was done in alignment with district and building continuous improvement efforts. Teams have completed a comprehensive needs assessment pertaining to the stated goals of these federal programs by taking into account identified needs from building impact teams, various quantitative and qualitative data points, and stakeholder feedback. The final result is a carefully crafted plan for utilizing these federal funds to supplement local and state revenues so as to positively impact student achievement, college career and life readiness, professional development, and a safe learning environment. A recommendation to approve the fiscal year 25 Consolidated District Plan will be brought to the next meeting to ensure departments and buildings have these federal funds available on July 1st with the new fiscal year. A few updates may happen after further review, and they will be presented originally, because there's some data and details we're just getting the final counts on. And specifically, those updates will be under the heading Plan Specifics, under Private Schools Participation and Professional Development, and under the heading Bilingual Service Plan under Program Information. And the final one is 13.3, which is a public, oops, I'm sorry, I got ahead of myself.
Can I get a motion to temporarily adjourn the meeting to have a public hearing on e-learning plan? So moved. Motion and second. Any discussion or questions? Seeing none, hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Member Sutherland?
Yes.
Member Badouris?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
President Pro Tem Campbell?
Yes, motion passes, and we're now in public hearing. Dr. Wood?
Okay, thank you. At this time, I would like to call Adam Herter up and Ms. Maria Burgos, both exec directors, with Adam being for 6th through high school and Maria being pre-K through 5.
Good evening, members of the board, members of the audience and community. We're here during the public hearing just to briefly summarize what is in the board packet regarding the Valley View School District e-learning plan. Every district has to have their plan approved by the Regional Office of Education every 3 years, and our current approval runs through the end of this school year, so we are presenting the plan now, and we'll be coming back at the next board meeting for official approval as well, so that we can then submit the plan to the Regional Office of Education. Much of our plan remains the same to what students and our staff and our families are used to currently. Students will remain on the early release schedule if there is an e-learning day. This year they were used for either snow or weather, but they can be used for other reasons as well. So students from home would follow their early release schedule, which just shortens up the periods a little bit, which provides for sort of an optimal amount of learning from home. Activities are either synchronous or asynchronous, depending on the grade level, what's developmentally appropriate for students. So when we say synchronous, we mean directly live with a teacher over Zoom, generally. Asynchronous would be work that's posted online for students to complete. Our requirement is 5 hours of learning during the day constitutes an e-learning remote school day. That 5 hours, however, can contain academic activities, social emotional activities, physical activities, anything that is worked on during the actual physical school day. Generally for our middle and high schools, Google Classroom is the platform where work is posted. Students would have access to their teacher live during their learning period with any questions. They can also email their teacher. Teachers are available throughout the day to support that learning. At the middle school level, there'd be a synchronous portion of the day for our advisory block, which happens generally at the start of the day at our middle schools, just to get kids oriented to the day. At high school, it generally is more asynchronous in terms of the learning, with students being independently completing the work that's posted. And so to be present on that day, students need to engage in the work, complete and submit the work according to how it's designed by the teacher. And of course, there's some differences with our elementary learners who are a little bit younger, and so Maria Burgos will discuss that.
Thank you. In elementary, we've prioritized the incorporation of developmentally appropriate practices tailored to meet the needs of our students. And in order to do that and to make these adjustments and be responsive to our students' learning, we ensured that we gathered the voice from teachers, building administrators, and other stakeholders as well. This collaborative approach allowed us to make decisions in order to make the shifts to best support the diverse needs of our learners. Students, like Adam mentioned, will engage in both synchronous and asynchronous learning activities, facilitated by teachers who will provide asynchronous assignments and remain accessible to them, as he mentioned, via email, Seesaw, Remind, and Google Classroom. Each school site will establish a consistent system for sharing and storing instructional plans, with the possibility of utilizing a choice boards on Seesaw for asynchronous instruction.
Thank you. Any comments from the board? Any comments from staff? Any comments from the public? Can I get a motion to close the hearing and return to public hearing and return to the regular meeting?
So moved.
Motion and second, roll call vote, please.
Member Boudouris?
Yes.
Member Sutherland?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
President Pro Tem Campbell?
Yes. Motion passes. We're now in regular meeting. Next, we have agenda 13.4, trash removal and compactor rental.
That would be me. Valley View's current contract for trash removal is Waste Management Incorporated. The agreement covers a 3-year period beginning July 2022 and extending through June of 23, and allows for contract extensions for 2 additional years. Last year, the board approved a contract extension for 1 year from July 2023 to 2024. This year, the district is anticipating a significant increase in its services, and therefore it would be prudent to seek proposals from other reputable waste haulers. This is an informational report. At the next board meeting, our intent is to recommend awarding the contract to the successful waste hauling contractor.
Thank you. 13.5.
13.5, the district's wireless infrastructure is the backbone of technology for student learning and for district-wide communications. The wireless infrastructure is reaching its useful life of 8 years and is part of the technology infrastructure program. The district is maximizing funding for this project by utilizing E-rate funding program. A request for proposal was posted following the compliance requirements via the E-rate program. E-rate will cover 85% of the eligible expenditures, or approximately $1.4 million of the cost. Contained in your packet is a proposal and a contract. Administrative Services will work with our attorneys to review said documents before bringing recommendations at our next regular board meeting.
Thank you. Legal Services.
No report.
Association Federation reports. AFT, any report?
Good evening. As the year comes to a close, I always like to come and wrap up the year and give a perspective as it comes to an end from my lens and most importantly from my members' lens. But before I do that tonight, I got to get back into the ick a little bit, if you will. Seeing that last meeting I wasn't able to attend, I'd like to address some comments that were made at the end of that meeting. First, let me say how unprofessional I think it is for a board member to readdress me in a public forum when I wasn't even present. I have given 2 very eye-opening speeches over the last few months and have sat here with a room full of my members and thousands of yous out in the community for what I've said, and not a word was said back to me. But the first meeting after I'm not present, I get readdressed when I'm not even here. Well, I'm back tonight, so let me correct some information that was stated when I wasn't. Number 1, public comment is just that, public comment. Myself, who has a permanent spot on this agenda to speak, and for anyone who chooses to get up here and speak to the board, can do so at any time and bring forth any concern that they feel you all need to hear. If you all have to sit in uncomfortability because of it, then so be it. I haven't called any of you out individually by name. There are no personal attacks on you being made. I have shared and given specifics about things, of course I have, and I should be able to speak openly and freely. I know that this board likes to keep things hush-hush and private, but I don't operate like such. I speak to you all as a board because that is what you are supposed to represent. You don't like my tone, you don't like me being passionate about the work I do, you don't like what I have to say, then so be it. But I most certainly do not need any advice from any of you on how to speak politely. You think it's polite to address women with the wrong credentials meeting after meeting, and then when you get called out for it, you roll your eyes at me? You think it's polite to say moving down the agenda when I get up here and I speak in tears with the pain and hurt of the decisions that you've made, or the pain that you cause my members that I have to figure out how to deal with? You think it's polite to show up in our workspace and disrespect us? Because at least 5 of you have blatantly done it this year alone while attending events or being on site. You think it's polite to misuse a system that you are supposed to serve? You think it's polite to cause distrust and harm to our communities and my membership? Because that is what this board has repeatedly done all year long. And I, for one, am sick of it, and I will use my time and platform to let everyone know who will listen. Number 2, administration in this district can hire whomever they so choose. That is their right, and it is your right and role to approve such actions. Dr. Polson is coming back to this district and was hired because she was handpicked to do so. There were several other candidates much closer to our system with the ins and the outs that in this district that never even stood a chance. And to be clear, not one of my members was on those interview panels, not one. And that is probably the first time that I have ever seen that done in my tenure in this district. The job certainly was posted back in December, maybe even November, but there was no movement on it. No interviews, no clear direction to interview candidates, nothing. Mind you, for over 4 years, Superintendent Kinder sat here and did her job without one at all. Within 1 week of you replacing Dr. Wood in this role, you requested that interviews begin. So no, the board does not get any credit for hiring an assistant superintendent a week after you handpicked Dr. Wood to do his job. No, you absolutely get no credit for showing corruption. Number 3, our RIF process is a yearly process that sometimes we use, sometimes we don't. But what you don't know is that we actually have a process in this district. We have a committee that Dr. Nash and I run, and we meet yearly with actual members to discuss the process, make changes, review new ISB guidelines, and make sure that our process is clearly known to all the members of my council. As I stated in one of my last 2 speeches, the board stopped that process seconds before the meeting in March to pull the RIFs off the agenda, because you all felt that you didn't have enough time to understand the process. Well, let's just make it known that the board receives all relevant documents for a meeting at least 4 days prior to a meeting. Also, let's make it known that you all had received a preliminary list of all RIFs and transfers weeks before it even happened, because guess what? I get them too. Dr. Nash provides all stakeholders with those documents weeks prior to them even going public. And I know that because I've worked side by side with that woman for 6 years, and I know and I watch her process. So the reality is that you all sat on those documents and lists for weeks. And from what I witnessed, never reached out to Dr. Nash or Superintendent Kinder to inquire about why or how they expected that process to play out. Heck, you didn't even discuss them in closed session that night. Because if you did, you wouldn't have been scrambling seconds before that meeting started and pulled it off the agenda. I sat in this audience and I watched it all happen right before my eyes. So again, this board does not get credit for trying to stop the RIFs in this district, which means there would be less supports for students. And also let it be known that you put it back on the agenda for one of your special Saturday meetings that you held at the Ad Center in your poor attempt to distract myself and the community from coming. And let it also be known that you didn't even record either one of those Saturday meetings, even though you had the capability of doing so at the district office. Another display of corruption. Number 4, I don't need one lesson from any of you on what funds can be used for. I have sat at a bargaining table for 6 years, and I am very well versed on what capital funds and projects are picked and how money is to be used. I am fully aware that capital funds, technology, and other specific funds, like spending $150 on a truck, what they can be used for. What I spoke to was how the inequitable disbursement of projects can be done in this district. I know Mike Lopez and his team does everything they can every summer to do whatever and how many projects they can. But they don't get to pick those projects. You all pick those projects. A new track at BHS, new bleachers at RHS will certainly take up the majority of their summer work, along with your personal favorite contractors who got those jobs, and certainly take very large portions of that budget to the high schools, which is fine. But you have some elementary buildings that are barely hanging on. We have ceilings filled with mold, holes in the roof, broken coat hooks, ugly walls, and everything in between. There are 21 sites in this district that need attention, not just BHS and RHS. But again, I don't need a lesson on what funds can be used for. Number 5, $240 million spent on salary and benefits. Great. That is where the education fund is to be spent on my people for the work that they do day in and day out. Where it should not go is to paying penalties intentionally to TRS to allow Dr. Wood to take this role, which is what you all are doing this year. I mentioned that I have had to wait months for an MOU to get voted on. The last edit of that MOU that was presented to me that you all voted on included a line that specifically called out that this MOU was not for administrators, which made no sense to me at all at the beginning because our collective bargaining agreement is just that, the Valley View Council's collective bargaining agreement. Regardless, that line was added, and then a week later, you all did the exact opposite yourself. You all are costing taxpayers thousands of dollars in penalties by putting Dr. Wood in that seat, knowing he had already turned in an irrevocable letter of intent to retire. So either the board has a lack of understanding on how TRS works, or you once again just did whatever you wanted. I pushed for that MOU to support our most senior staff, but it also was a cost savings to the district. There was no cost savings in placing Dr. Wood in this role. Where funds should not go is to paying out a former superintendent who is not doing the work of the district anymore. Where it should not go is to giving a 10% raise to an individual. Where it should not go is to giving bonuses to administrators that my people would never see the light of day with. Number 6, probably my favorite. The board has always had, The board has always had good relations with past Valley View Council presidents. Please. Everything that I have had to say and said is the doing of all of you on this stage. This is not my doing because I'm bitter, mad, or angry, or I have nothing better to do with my time. Our relationship is where it is because of the decisions that you have collectively made over the years, especially this one. Not because I did or didn't do something. You all don't like what I have to say. You don't like the truth being put out on display. You don't respect the work that I do. You don't respect me as a leader. Fine. I have never given two you-know-whats about how you all feel about me personally, and I never will. I have a job to do, and I will operate like a bulldozer to do that job, and I've made that clear. Just because past Valley View Council presidents haven't stood up to your corruption and gone along with it doesn't mean that I have to, because I won't. For years, as a 4-time re-elected president, I have stood up here to try to convey the struggles, the reality, the good, the bad, and the ugly about what's going on. I have worked with every past administration to invite you all into our work. I have invited you personally to development opportunities so that you all could even see how the union and administration works. I am the first president to even use and see through interest-based bargaining as part of negotiations so that we could work together and collaborate. I am the first president to even support bringing along a side-by-side professional development for all of my building representatives and building administration. I stand up here and speak to every role within my organization. I sit at a bargaining table and fight for every one of those roles to feel heard and represented. And you're gonna paint a picture to the community that I'm the problem, that you've had great relationships with everybody except me. The only people that I have to impress or need validation from is my first grade students and my members. And as a 17-year very successful first grade teacher and a 4-time re-elected president to the 2nd largest IFT council in the state, I'd say I'm doing just fine. So say what you want about me, feel how you want about me. Thanks, guys. So say what you want about me, feel how you want about me, but I will never allow corruption to be put on display, all while people abuse me, take advantage of my role, or think that I'm a puppet that's to be messed with. Number 7, it was stated that we should all show grace. All of us should show grace. So I ask, should our communities show grace to corruption? Show grace to lies? Show grace to poor decision-making? Show grace to the abuse of power? Show grace to the misuse of taxpayer dollars? Show grace to the inability to lead? Show grace to dismantling people's lives? Show grace to a board that is supposed to serve but uses a system to serve itself? Show grace to a board that continues to show that they don't know how to lead, that they don't still seem to know where their place is in all this, that they don't know how to stay on their balcony and let us actually do the work that needs to be done in the district. No, I'm not sure that this board deserves grace anymore. And from the compliments from my membership and the members in this community that I still receive almost daily for the things I've said the last few months, I think that many of them would agree that they're tired of giving you all grace. This board is supposed to set an example of leadership. Leaders in this district are supposed to serve, not self-serve. The board is supposed to follow suit with what is allowable on all fronts for all parties. If my members don't get it, then you don't get it. If we don't get a 10% increase, then no one should. If we don't get 5-year contracts, then no one should. If we don't get to handpick our friends for jobs, then no one should. If we don't get concessions for things that would benefit us or our classrooms or anything for that matter, then no one does. If we are all bound by the parameters of our collective bargaining agreement, then every single person in this district that I represent in all of those categories is bound by those same parameters, whether they are a union member or not. No one gets favoritism. No one gets special treatment. No one gets illegal treatment. And I'll be darned if I sit back and watch any of it violate the parameters that have been set forth in this district. In fact, I've mentioned a word here quite a few times tonight, and I'm gonna say it one more time to make it clear that what you all have put on display with your lack of leadership is corruption. So much corruption that I'm at the point of reporting it all to the Attorney General. Now the real action of things that should be my focus on why I speak, and that's our members and the students. Over the past weekend, my council put on one heck of an event for this community to give away over 40,000 books to our members and Valley View School District students. Certainly one of the biggest events I have ever pulled off, and I thank all of you who showed up to help us unpack books, repack books, send out flyers, talk to community partners, help get some amazing performers to come show off their talent, help set up for the event, take down the event, and everything in between. A special thanks to Jim Wayne and his crew that has been putting up with me for over a month and moving almost 30 pallets of books back and forth to prepare for this event. Nothing but all smiles, thankful parents, students, and teachers, and it just made all the hundreds of hours of work and my back pain worth it. That is a small example of what the work that unions do. We show up, we do what's best for kids, and we take care of our people. So thank you to our national affiliation, AFT, and First Book for choosing the Valley View Council to help give away your 10th million book over the weekend. Senator Mate Capel was on site, along with our local presidents, Bill Briggs and Dan Mercer, and our Illinois Federation of Teacher President, Dan Montgomery, were all able to come, and they were very impressed with our event. I don't think I want to look at another book for a very long time, but I will always do what is best for the students in this community, to see smiles on my members' face, knowing that they're going home with a cart full of books to add to their libraries at school. Our council, once again, was able to provide $7,000 in scholarships to graduating seniors these past weeks at award ceremonies, and we are proud to help out as much as we can. We had a lot of highs and a lot of lows this year, as we do every year. I'm so proud of all the work that my members have done and all the challenges that they persevere through. My favorite thing every week is watching Mr. Blaney's videos and interviews with my members, because it is just a small glimpse of the real work that we are actually doing. I always say to people that if they walked a day in a teacher's shoes, their heads would spin, because you can't even imagine what it is like to walk in our shoes. My own head spins by the time I get home as I try to wrap my head around all that I heard, saw, and did on a daily basis as a leader in this district. I'm so thankful for the strong relationships that I do have with members of administration that are my partners, including Dr. Nash, Dr. Polak, executive directors Maria, Adam, and Mary. Thank you. Thank you for doing this work with me. Thank you for allowing me to be me. Thank you for always being willing to problem solve with Jared and I. And thank you for supporting your building leaders so that they can lead and help my members and the students we serve. I hope you all know just how much I appreciate each one of you. I asked my members to share some words and thoughts on the year so I could speak to those highs and lows. Some of the highs included how much success we saw with our students this year, the tremendous academic growth in so many areas, the overwhelming support that they have felt from their union this year, from each other, from building and district leaders, the strong partnerships that were built with families, feeling heard and getting professional development opportunities that actually supported the work that we're doing, having a voice in situations, so many wonderful events that were planned and put out by our buildings, leaders, and members. And the most simplistic challenge, but the most challenging, is we made it through another year. The connections we've made with our students and parents, and being reminded of our why so much more often. The feeling of support that so many of us felt from Superintendent Kinder and many of her team members. And I know I've mentioned her name here a few times tonight, and I'll probably will continue to, because I don't think this board is ever going to understand the good that that woman brought to this district and the community. Last week, while I was with my own building on the walk and bike to school day, a police officer stopped me at the end of the walk. Never a good thing to get stopped by a police officer, but he stopped me and he asked me and told me, he said, "I just needed to pull you over and say thank you for sticking up for our girl. You will never understand the impact that Superintendent Kinder had on those that she served in this communities." Some lows for my membership included the fear of supports being cut, the change in not only district but building leaders, the micromanaging that we still feel as professionals, the shifting and cutting of resources, the social emotional demands of primary students, staff being stretched so thin with ever-growing needs, the lack of support within our own CARES program specifically at all levels. That program alone needs their own team of support that doesn't affect the rest of the resources being pulled away from the buildings, and it does tremendously every day. A fear of how it seems that a handful of students, probably in every building, are running things. How a system like ours could allow children to manipulate it, abuse it, and take so much negative attention and time away from all of our students. The fear and continued lack of discipline, concrete, strict, no excuses consequences for students. As a system, we watch and look at data all day long. We look at the negative consequences with our response to discipline and the effect it has had on students. But if we think what we are doing or not doing is working, you're sadly mistaken. Rules and regulation are a must in a school system, and when you don't have that, you get chaos, workman's comp cases, teachers second-guessing their profession choices every day. We work too hard to have children running or taking over a system. Following teenagers around to the bathroom because of all the vaping and fighting that's going on. Cell phone policies, forget about it. Students are doing whatever they want, whenever they want, and we are left feeling hopeless trying to manage everything. Sometimes something isn't working, folks, and I'm gonna keep saying it till I'm blue in the face. Our community, parents, and administration needs to step it up big time in the area of crisis and crisis response. Big time. Lastly, I thank all of our retirees of the Valley View Council. Thank you for your years of service in public education. Thank you for reaching and touching so many young lives with your dedication and commitment to education and to this district. A special thank you to Board Clerk Shelley Casey, who has always been so kind to me, for helping me get all my meetings scheduled and seeing that I get what I needed to, even though she definitely didn't have to. She has been a crucial part of everything that has been getting done in this district. And boy, if your walls could talk, I think I'd be entertained with stories for years. I wish you all the best in your retirement. To our graduating seniors, good luck to you all. Make us all proud with your next adventure. Shine bright, do right, and do what makes you happy in life. To the rest of our students, get out those water balloons, swimsuits, summer reading material. Go get those job interviews lined up. Go make some money and help your parents out, and be kind to your younger siblings. But find time to take care of yourselves over the next 10 weeks. But most of all, go be kids, because you have worked hard this year too, and all of your teachers are proud of you. To my members, thank you may sound so small, but it is 2 words that I could never say enough. Thank you for your dedication and commitment to our students. Thank you for being the best in the business and for your selflessness to do what you do, to see the best in our students, in the classroom, on the field, on the courts, on the stage, and in life. You all make all these successes of this district possible, and don't you ever forget that through all those challenges, you are appreciated. As many of us close down for the next 10 weeks, our tremendous maintenance crew will once again take on project after project, and I thank them in advance for all those long hours that they will be putting in over the next 10 weeks to keep this place running. Please take your vacation days and take care of yourself too. Parents, we thank you for your support this school year. Thank you for trusting us with your children to help support their growth and development as a child and as a learner. And as I always end my speech every year, tag, you're it in just 9 days. Thank you.
Valley View Council, any report? Valley View Office Personnel Council, any report? Well, thank you, Renee, for your report. At this time, any old business from the board? Okay.
I think this falls under. Thought it was on. Third time. Okay, I'd like the district to revisit the high school graduation day. I would like to see that it return to a Saturday or a Sunday so that our children do not need to decide on whether they attend their athletic event that they've been in for the last 4 months or whether they go to graduation. Also, I feel that graduation is something to be valued, and putting it on a weekend would give it more distinguishable connections with the kids and the families, and I'd like to see that move to a weekend.
Thank you. Any new business from the board? Freedom of information link is on our Valley View School District website with the login of Form the FOIA, items available, and that's the thanks to Mr. Blaney. Any announcements from the board?
I have announcements also. Wednesday, April 8th, Member Sutherland and myself attended RHS's Honor Night. Very, very impressive with the students there and everything that went on. On Thursday, April 9th, the district retirement party, Member Zach, Member Baduras, Member Campbell, Member Sunderland, and myself attended. We appreciate all those years and years that these people have put into our district, whether they be in the nutrition system, our transportation, or one of our teachers. On Friday, April 10th at RHS, Member Sutherland and myself attended the Percussion Theater. Again, to see those talented students was wonderful. And to end, teachers and staff, as our school year comes to an end, please relax and enjoy your summer vacations. They are well deserved. Thank you.
I have something that I'd like to say as well. Renee, by no means was it intentional that I spoke while you weren't here last week. I didn't know you weren't going to be here, so glad you're here tonight. I'd like to point out a couple things myself. The first, this board consists of 2 former Valley View educators, one of which was a longtime union president herself and mother of a Valley View staffer. The other is a mother of Valley View graduates, one of which is a former Valley View educator as well. Another member is a mother of a great Valley View elementary educator and member of the union, as well as a grandmother to several Valley View students. Another is the husband of a longtime Valley View employee whose children all went through the Valley View School District. As a matter of fact, everyone on the board has or had children or grandchildren in Valley View schools. You know who can't make that claim? It was mentioned something about the board not approving administrator raises for decades or what have you. But let me read a board policy for you. Board policy 3-50 states that the board will consider the superintendent's recommendations when setting compensation for individual administrators. You've been provided a list of all the people who received what I call bonus checks in 2021 and 2022. 5 of those individuals received $13,000 bonuses on top of a roughly 5 to 6% raise that year. I bet some of you are wondering why the board would do that or how the Board of Education couldn't know that. I'll tell you why. Because those bonus checks were cleverly paid out as stipends instead of bonuses, and therefore they were not reflected on the EIS report the district typically puts on the agenda at the last meeting in September each year. For those that don't know, the district is required to post these salaries by October 1st. Don't bother looking for the one in 2019 because they just didn't do it that year. Simply put, the board wasn't aware this occurred because we saw what the public saw. The same way coaching stipends aren't included in the EIS report, these so-called stipends were also omitted from the EIS report. The board is not the one you should address these questions towards. I have another observation. The last couple meetings, well, not the last meeting, but the 2 prior to this, it was led off in the Donald Trump-style stump speeches with insults to the credentials of Dr. Keith Wood. Dr. Wood is very qualified and incredibly deserving of this position, but you failed to see that through your anger. You then proceeded to completely ignore the fact that Dr. Nita White was our assistant superintendent. In fact, I believe Dr. White was the very first hire of your friend, who you stated many times wasn't allowed to be supported by an assistant superintendent. I think you brought that up tonight as well. And then you decided to insult the intelligence of Miss Elizabeth Campbell. You know, there's been several times where you've come here to speak, and several things you've said I agree with. Both of my parents were educators in Valley View, spanning 4 decades each. This has given me an incredible appreciation for teachers. So when you came to a meeting last year demanding that a board member be reprimanded for their interactions with your members, I supported your position publicly, even though I literally share a property line with this individual. Up until your first speech here in April, actually, I'm sorry, March 11th, I was under the impression that you stood by that position. That changed when I witnessed you thanking that same person for apparently agreeing with your accusations. When that individual said something you agreed with, you'd swear you wanted every other board member removed so this one could be the president. Was that speech last year passion or performance? It's honestly unclear at this point. Lastly, I'm glad you brought up my FOIA requests and declared that it was 30 hours of Mr. Blaney's time. I'm glad you stated it as 30 hours because I've heard it phrased the same way before. And since the FOIA logs actually show it was 35 hours, I know who told you this information and that you didn't read the FOIA logs yourself, even though you filed a FOIA as well, which I think was 5 hours, on April 4th. I received my property tax bill in the mail last week, and I think I got those 35 hours covered. But thanks for your concern about my tax money, not yours or anyone in senior leadership at the time I filed them. Let's go to my FOIAs. I'd love to share the reasons why I submitted FOIA requests. My first FOIA was filed on December 1st, after I learned that a former board member's district email had been forwarded to their Gmail account only after the election. This was done at the direction of someone at the Ad Center, nonetheless. Now, for those of you that don't know, parents, community members, students, employees, and senior leadership can send confidential emails to the board by emailing the group at board@vvsd.org, to which this former board member's email was still in this group. In other words, confidential information was being forwarded to a private citizen without the knowledge of the sender. So I FOIA'd the emails that had gone to and from this email address from May 1st to present. And yes, redacted emails came up in the FOIA. Some of the others were just rewording of previous FOIAs because I was told that they returned too much information, so therefore I wouldn't receive anything. You see, I was exercising my right as an American citizen to utilize the Freedom of Information Act so that I could get answers that I couldn't get if I asked as a board member. It's simple as that. It's important to remember that we are all here for the kids in the communities. We aren't here for one individual or a small group of individuals, and people shouldn't lose sight of that. We're supposed to be working together for the good of this district and its learners. Standing up here and bullying, yes, I said bullying because that's what it is. Anyone and everyone that you don't agree with is not something the district teaches its students. We don't condone it in the classrooms, and it shouldn't have been condoned here in the board meetings. Thank you.
I also have a comment. The board sits up here and takes as you speak to us, Renee. But you did not, as JT said and spoke to you. You laughed at what he had to say. You point, I'm talking. Thank you. You point to people in the audience as he's speaking. Because when we sit up here and take it, you tell us we're not transparent. You do know that the board is not allowed to say many things to anybody. Therefore, we can't be transparent on some things. So I would like to sit down with you at some point in time and discuss what things you've been saying that are not appropriate to us. Thank you.
Good evening. I would like to have my announcements from the board. I just want to thank the Valley View School District and family for this year or the ending of this year. And I do agree with Renee that you guys get some rest and come back so we can truly be about all the children. I had opportunity to visit all the campuses and especially our secondary transition experience program because they decided that they like my hats, and so they are taking one of my hats and creating a hat for me. So I am just elated that they would ask me to do that. So thanks, everyone. And do we have any announcements from the administration?
I still have to talk. I just want to say thank you to all the teachers and staff for the year of this year and all the things they have done, dedication. I'm also very upset with you, Renee, because you made an accusation personally at me. No shrugging, Renee, no shrugging. An accusation. You did. No, you did. But we'll talk about that afterwards because you made this comment and you lumped in people previous to me as well in your comment, and you may not recall.
All right.
All right, thank you, but I want to say have a good.
All right. Thanks, everyone, for your comments. And at this time, any announcement from the administration?
Yes, just a brief announcement. As we wind down the year, I would like to say that I've truly enjoyed seeing all the staff spotlight videos that have highlighted not only our wonderful staff that we have here in Valley View, but also our amazing students for whom we are here to serve. And kudos to our community and media relations team, Mr. Blaney and Ms. Eimer, for capturing our most excellent work over the course of the school year. And yes, I agree. They do a phenomenal job of capturing our amazing staff who make it happen day in and day out. I would also like to encourage all of our building leaders and staff to finish the school year strong, and I wish you the best as you implement end-of-the-year activities to celebrate a successful school year. I mean, clearly, our path this year has been far from smooth, but I am proud of all that we have achieved through the hard work and efforts of folks from across all levels of our district community. Great work does not occur in isolation, and our future achievements will be built on the foundation of collective efforts, and that includes our local council, our school board, our leadership teams across levels, our staff and families, in order to do what we are set out to do, to serve our students at the highest degree possible. I hope that everyone has a strong finish to the school year, celebrating promotion ceremonies and graduations, are able to take some time over the summer to kick back, relax, and maybe even read a good book or two. And I would like to comment on the AFT First Book 10 million book giveaway that happened this weekend. I know Mrs. Calabrese and Mr. Ploger probably will not want to be singled out, but it takes leadership to pull off an event at the level that it was, and I appreciate the hard work and effort that went in to them through their leadership. I was impressed by the variety of texts that were available for selection, the widespread spread of guests from all ages, student performances that delighted the audience, and the access to vendors who advocate for making connections and providing valuable services. It was truly a community effort. All of this, to me, is what make good communities great. And thanks once again to the AFT and local council and all of the volunteers who made the event possible, and to the district maintenance team and the BHS crew that hosted the event. Be safe, everyone, and have a great summer.
Thank you. Any more announcements from the administration? Okay. Could we have a motion to adjourn to go in closed sessions for items 1 and 11?
So moved.
Motion and second. Seeing and hearing none, could we have a roll call vote?
Member Borders?
Yes.
Member Sutherland? Yes. Secretary Sikora? Yes. President Pro Tem Campbell?
Yes. Motion passes. We'll be returning to executive session. Thank you for attending, everyone.